Hi everyone, I'm Allison June Mabe, Governmental Affairs Program Manager here with Joe Stewart, Chief Advocacy Officer. The North Carolina House returned to Raleigh this week that included a brief ceremonial session celebrating the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence before adjourning on Wednesday. The House also approved an adjournment resolution that sets monthly session dates if needed, but Speaker Destin Hall says it's unlikely that they'll return before November to finish this year's work.
Yeah, we're not likely to see the General Assembly come back before the election, but a couple of the things that the House did take up this week, Allison June, of note, House Bill 328 deals with intoxicating hemp-related products. A lot of strong feelings about this. Technically, it was a conference report, meaning the House and the Senate had agreed to the language, although the House and Speaker Hall said there were still some concerns, and so unlikely that this provision is taken back up before that November session. Federal law that was enacted last year will, in effect, prohibit the sale of these products starting in November of this year, although the Trump administration has said they would hope Congress would reverse that prohibition on the federal level. One of those things we'll have to wait and see. Another item we reported on last week, the House passed House Bill 268, which made significant technical corrections to the state's budget. It's already been passed and signed by the governor. One thing we wanted to note, we mentioned this last week. I talked to Commissioner Causey. The Department of Insurance had a $2.7 million budgetary reduction in the budget. The legislature restored all but $1.5 million of that. Pretty significant, though. The commissioner says that will necessitate the elimination of 16 positions in the department, and he's expressed an interest in trying to restore that funding, recognizing the challenge it may represent to have that many fewer employees, in effect, making sure that the Department of Insurance mission under the statutes is being accomplished. One issue of note that I thought would be really interesting to our members, House Bill 958, election law. We talked about this. The governor announced he would, in all likelihood, veto the bill. The House did pass it, as the Senate did last week, making some changes to the duration of early voting and other things related mostly to the technical aspects of an election. But this may be one of those measures that has to be taken up for a potential veto override when the General Assembly comes back next. And then a bill that was much discussed, but an interesting aspect of it for our members, Senate Bill 445, sort of every other year the General Assembly does some regulatory modernizations. Contained in this one is a provision to make it easier for towns of 50,000 people or more to enact provisions to allow those mini houses to be put on existing structures, sometimes called a granny flat. There may be an insurance possibility here as more homeowners have these additional structures on their property. And so that's one that we'll watch and undoubtedly want to provide more information to on our members in the months to come.
In election news, Congressman Chuck Edwards announced this week that he will not seek re-election due to a following release of reports from the Ethics Committee of the U.S. House of Inappropriate Conduct regarding female staffers. North Carolina State Senator Tim Moffitt is already emerging as a possible candidate for the open seat.
Yeah. And finally, we'll close out the Raleigh report. We'll not be producing this unless there's something that takes place that's newsworthy now that the General Assembly has announced they're not coming back until all likelihood November. But we do want to encourage all of our members to make a PAC contribution. Our State Political Action Committee, what we call IPAC, is our way of supporting state legislative candidates that are aligned with us on key issues that are important to the independent insurance agency business model. So if you have not yet this year made your IPAC contribution, strongly encourage you to do so. Whatever the amount that makes sense to you. At the $120 level, we give you a Yeti tumbler, lets everybody know that you're a proud supporter of the Political Action Committee. So we encourage you to consider a contribution at that level. Thank you again for your attentiveness during the legislative session, and we'll be back and see you soon.